Hello YouTube. This is my first video I'm making here, and the reason I'm making this video today is well, as same as many other people that right now they're talking about the gem changes, right? And I wanted to talk about gem changes, but I wanted to give a bit of a different perspective on it, because from what I've seen past couple days, whenever I've been talking to other content creators, pretty much everyone is on the side of the change that they're making is bad. And well, I don't fully disagree. I don't think the change that they're making is good. I will not be arguing for that. But what I believe is that the gem change that they're making is better than what we have the current system. And that's where my problem comes, right? Because from what I understand, most people are arguing, well, not most people, but most content creators are arguing that it's better to give us no change than to give us the change that they presented. In my opinion, that's just wrong. In my opinion, this change still has more positive impact on the game itself than negative. And I'll elaborate on this a little bit in the throughout this video. I'll try to give you guys the perspective that I have on this change and on the entire system situation, and why I believe it should be changing, and why I believe that this change is generally better. But don't get me wrong, before you guys all come out after me, for all those people that are saying roster bound gems is like, we should have roster bound gems, like, yes, of course, it would be better if we just had roster-bound gems. I'm not here to argue to you, or like people are saying like that it should be better if there was like just gem change without any additional effects. Just there's a bunch of propositions out there, and there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of better ones than what we have. And I am all down for having a better solution than this. But my problem comes with the fact that right now people are so angry at this change that people are calling for no change, because people understand that roster-wide gems is not happening for, well, obvious reasons. Could be just money in Smilegate, could be Korean players just being angry about the gem situation, the Korean stockholders, the people that are investing in Lost Ark being angry about the whole gem situation. It is, after all, the system that is probably one of the most, if not the most expensive system in the game, outside of just straight up honing from 0 to hero, right? So due to that, like I yes, I understand it, but like, again, I still don't believe it's correct to base the game around people's investment. And that's also part of the reason why I think this change is, the people that are saying that this change is bad, I believe a lot of them is just basing their opinion based on the investment that they made, and not based on what's actually better for the game. But to dive into it a little bit, I will give you guys a bit of a perspective from a person that, well, this change does affect. For everyone that says that has 6 different classes and they're saying that this change doesn't affect them or anything, like, you are affected. And here's why. From the beginning of time, basically, in Lost Ark, at the very beginning, you often have a choice, because Lost Ark incentivizes making alt characters, right? So you have a choice. Do you want to play multiple different classes, or do you want to make multiple same classes? Now, what's the benefit? Obviously, multiple of the one big benefit is the gems, is the amount of investment that you have to put into your character to be quote unquote competitive at a level of a raid entry, for example, right? Or like just doing damage. So there's like there's a couple types of players. One type of player is like, okay, I will not take that gem like, I will not I will just play whatever I want. If I want to have 6 different classes and enjoy 6 different classes, I will make 6 different classes and enjoy that. If I want to have the same classes and I enjoy one class, if I would enjoy one class, I'm just going to make multiple. And then there's also the third type of player, which is, well, I want to have 6 different classes but I want to have them all very strong. And I know this is not possible with the amount of money. So what I will do instead is I'll have more of the same classes to make them all strong. And that is actually like doable. So like the question to me is then like, why is it okay for the game to give you an options where you prioritize like your character value over fun? Like in my opinion, like that's just bad design in the first place, right? And I think a lot of people could agree, like the design like that is just bad in the first place. That whenever a new arc pass or like whatever comes out, and when you go into choosing what you will make, you ask yourselves, you guys ask yourself, what will I make based on fun? But then you make a character, what will you make based on the amount of money you need to spend on it? And I feel like that's not how the game should be. I feel like when you make a new character, you make new character based on what you want to try, what you want to play, what you want to just basically what you want. You shouldn't be forced by the game, essentially, that to tell you, okay, you need to make the same class. Because otherwise, like, this class that you're gonna play is not gonna be as strong or whatever, right? And I believe, like, in my opinion, the new gem changes as a standalone, okay? If whenever the next pass comes out, for example, with female paladin, and let's say we have these gem changes, I believe that people will not be looking at, for the most part, not fully, but people will be now looking at what class should I make because of fun, instead of what class should I make because of gems. And I believe that is a good change going forward. People stop prioritizing efficiency over just whatever they want to play, because there's now more incentive to just play whatever you want, right? So I believe that is like a big change going into the future with this. And I think that's like a really positive one. And that is why I think that if we cannot get anything else, I believe this change should stay. I believe this going to the future will make the game better, right? The problem is that people have been investing since the Lost Ark started, people have been investing into the same characters or whatever with the intention to, well, essentially have a work around the gem system as a whole, right? So that, like, I feel like that was just fundamentally flawed from the start. And I feel like that's just people investing into a work around a bad system. And now that system got better, they are angry that they invested a work around a bad system, and that their workaround is now, well, essentially like negligible, right? Like people, like, let's say you are investing for 3 years. Let's say you know something is bad, but you find a way around it. And you're just investing in that for so long, right? Your entire persona, your entire account is built around that. And that changes. That suddenly changes. And like, yeah, it makes people feel stupid for doing that. Although, like, it really shouldn't, but it does. So I understand people that are against it. I know that a lot of people were affected, but here's the reality. All of you guys were just investing money into a system that is just essentially bad, and are now angry that the system got better. And with that mentality, we are essentially never going to be getting like good changes. We are essentially like never allowed to have good, like, the game getting better, right? And again, I'm not like, just once again, before you guys attack me, yes, I know there's better solution to this, but to a lot of people, the better solution is also just going back to what we had, which is, in my opinion, a worse solution. And like, this is why I'm explaining this right now. Because for the future of the game, this system makes a lot more sense, and it does change the mentality of how people are playing the game into a better one. Now, I also want to like explain something to all those people. Like, there's people saying like, "Oh, you guys have been benefiting from day one to the people with 6 of the same class, while the other people have been literally like has had it like worse, right? And I want to like give you guys some examples on that for people that have 6 of the same class that don't really understand why people with 6 different classes think that way, or like they're saying just like, oh, you guys are just jealous, or you guys are just whales or whatever, like just making a bunch of like assumptions. But like, here's the reality, right? I make this very simple drawing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will understand it. Also, before we go to that drawing, I just have to say, according to the calculations, and I believe it's right, is that even after the change, if you have 1 level higher gems, unbound, your gems are still better than the person's bound gems, right? So before anyone like calls me out on anything, just keep that in mind. We're going with that calculation. If you disagree with that calculation, then you disagree with maths. Like, I'm not going to argue with anyone that comes to me saying Earth is flat. If you disagree with the facts, then that's nothing I can help you with, okay? But yeah, so this is Lost Ark player. Sorry for the flashbang. This is a player A who has decided to make 6 different characters, and he's just playing the game. It is what it is. And then there's player B who decided that for whatever reason, either for fun of the class or for the sake of efficiency, they decided to play the same class. And Smilegate gave everyone started the same way, but this player B gets an extra lollipop at the start of the game, right? Because they decided to make 6 different classes. Why is that? 6 of the same. Why is there a benefit to playing 6 of the same class? Why is that a thing? Why can both sides not get the same benefit? Why is it incentivized to play 6 of the same class? Like, it has to be a flaw of the system, no? The game who is so frequently promoting alts and asking you to play multiple characters and saying like, okay, it's good to play alts, there's like, you get so many passes. Why is it that if you're doing that, but you're playing different class, you're getting, well, you are in a way getting punished. You are getting behind someone that's getting different class, right? And like people are saying like, we're getting punished now for playing 6 of the same. You're not really getting punished. I feel like that's just like putting a wrong perspective on the thing. It's the people that were playing 6 different classes, they're catching up. That's all there's really happening. People with 6 different classes with this change are catching up a little bit. I'll go more into that a little bit later with some clear examples, but I feel like that should be the perspective of the player base, right? But the problem is also most of content creators, most of people that are at the end game right now are there because they're playing multiple of the same class and are a lot like, and their opinions is over voicing like the average person has playing 6 of the same class, right? 6 different classes. But this is just the reality, right? So now what happened is Smilegate decided that player A has been treated bad enough for 3 years. Like, again, this might have not been their thought process, but that's essentially what's happened, right? So player A now gets a small treat. They're telling them, okay, since you're playing 6 different classes, here is a small treat for you. You are catching up a little bit behind this guy who's been playing with a lollipop his entire game. So you're getting like a candy, okay? You're getting a candy as well. But player B already has a lollipop. They don't need the candy. And now player B is angry. Because why are these guys getting something, but we're getting nothing? Why are we getting punished? While having a lollipop in their hands, they're asking, why are we getting punished? So then player A is like, okay, you can like give up your lollipop and you can have the candy. Give up your massive over level gems and have lower gems and have the same thing as us. And they're not willing to do that either. And it makes sense that they're not willing to do that because a candy this candy is worse than the lollipop, right? So that I don't understand why. I mean, again, I understand why, but how is nobody looking at it from this perspective? Like, I feel like it is very selfish. The perspective that people are looking from is that everyone's perspective is, me that's far ahead, that's getting a bonus since the start of the game, is getting punished because this guy is catching up to me. Right? Like, I don't understand. It's like saying, okay, I did advanced honing day 1, I've been doing better content, more damage since day 1, and now it got nerfed. Like, it's not good that it got nerfed. Because now this guy's gonna get like closer and doing it as well. That's not fair. I did it day 1, I paid the price, and now he's getting 2. And that's like the Korean mentality as well right now. That's literally the mentality of a lot of Korean whales. There was a Zeus post where he literally said he's upset that this guy's spending like this guy's going into this certain investment, and then that investment becomes invalid, right? And that's what people are mad about right now. They made an investment into like a same class or whatever. They're far ahead, and now that there's like a boost for other people, they're suddenly angry. And I'm really like, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to have like this mindset. I don't think it's fair at all. Because like, let's be real, as a lot of people say, like those people are still ahead by not sharing gems versus these people these people are ahead by sharing gems versus player A who will not be sharing gems but just locking them. This person's still going to be ahead. And I will give you some examples on that. But before I give you examples on that, I want you guys to look at a certain video that I found. So I wanted to compare myself a little bit. My roster, pretty strong roster, right? I wanted to compare a bit to myself to people that are playing same class, and to see the reality or where those people ended up because they're playing same class. What is the difference, right? Why am I bringing this comparison up is because I want to show you guys that this change is more about catching up than being punished. It's more about people with different classes catching up than people with same class being punished. Okay? So here, this is my roster, right? My roster, 6 times 1700. I'll be doing more than hard mode times 6 week 1. My characters are, however, very weak. It is not something that you would expect from a 1700 characters. My gems are not even full 8s on any of them. My accessories are pretty mediocre. Nothing stands out. Weapons are full 18. Gears are full 18. Nothing really special about this roster, right? You're saying, you guys are saying like, oh, you're 6 times 1700. Yeah, but the way I'm 6 times 7, like those characters are not really showing a 1700 character. Okay. And the reason for that is, part of the reason is definitely gems, right? If I want to invest, if I want to make full level 8 gems, I need 3 million gold per character. Now, granted, there's 2 paladins, so let's just say 3 million times 5. I need 15 million gold versus someone with 6 times same character that needs 3 million gold, right? So, the reason why I'm showing you guys is I've been in a static for like, let's say like almost 2 years. I joined this static when Akan came out. And this is another person from a static that I've been playing. So basically everyone in that static that has been playing together for 2 years, every single one of us have been doing the exact same raid, have made the exact same amount of gold, right? Since Akan. We've been doing the, like, even if someone was overgeared, undergeared, we've been doing the same content because we've done everything together, okay? Everything. Which means we've been essentially making the same amount of gold over the past 2 years. So it can give you a pretty good idea on what's happening, right? What different people are making with the same amount of gold. This is another person from my static. He's not quite full 1700 yet, but he's working on it. He'll make it. Pretty much similar as me. Roster, nothing special. His main has like a little bit better gems. There's full 8s here. But the rest of his characters are a bit more like, this is like some S7, some 8s, some event gems. This Zerker has 1 level 8, the rest level 7, right? Like you would say like this character's at 1700, this one's even level 6s, right? You would say like this guy would most likely get gate capped at 1700. And you're probably right. He'll still get to clear the content because he's part of the static. But overall, like, his characters are not really 1700 characters at this point, right? Like, most of you guys would gatekeep them, and you would gatekeep him, and most of you guys would say, like, yeah, this character needs to work on other stuff before hitting 1700. And, like, partially I agree. But here's the reality. This is another player from the same static, and he's playing 6 of the same class. Now, granted, there's other factors when it comes to gearing up. There's not just playing the game, making gold. This guy was ahead of both me and him. Jason was ahead of us since the start, okay? So don't get me wrong. But he has still been doing the exact same content as we have. He's been doing the exact same content. He hasn't been doing anything significant that would make him significantly more money than it did for us, okay? I'd be arguing that I probably did more things that would make me more money than him. I won't go into details on that because this video is not about that. But when it comes to pay to win and stuff, I'm pretty sure like we're like all three of us are pretty similar. None of us really go into any pay to win or swiping. So from that perspective, how are we so far behind? And part of that, as I said personally, 12 million gold can go into other resources besides gems, right? So that, like, again, the reason why I'm showing you this is to explain to you guys that this is about catching up. This person has gems that are full 8 essentially. His gems are nothing special, but having full 8s is essentially 12 million. His full 8 is 6 times the value of the full 8 that either of us can have. 6 times the value, which means that he gets the same amount of power with one of the most important systems in the game, by the way, for 6 times less money across his roster, right? So, and why is that not something that we would want to breach? Why is this gap not something that we would want to close, right? Because we don't want to incentivize same class. We want people to play different stuff. I'll show you like a video on that again afterwards, or like not a video, but just like a short snippet. But like this is the reality, right? He has better accessories. He's a DPS class, even has some books. Granted, nothing too crazy, but hey, 15 adrenaline, 10 grudge, 20 curse roll, 20 MP efficiency. That's to me sounds pretty good. But again, and then also his roster is above 1700, right? It's 1705 to like 17010 like average, right? He's higher, right? And all of that while earning the same amount of money as the two of us. The same exact amount of money, essentially. Yes, there might be some variabilities in getting like a lucky drop or whatever, but there, like I can tell you guys, there wasn't really any variabilities like that. We've been essentially making the same amount of money. We've been doing the exact same content. We've been entering the exact same accounts. I also haven't changed my roster for 2 years now as well. So this is the characters I entered the account with. This is the character that he entered the account with. The only person that changed the roster is him. He used to have a Glade in the main roster. He swapped it with a Artist. Because at one point, one of the static members quit, and we needed another support into our roster. So he also had to like swap one character out. So that's why he's most likely behind me even, right? But gems are one of the main reasons for this roster discrepancies. And I don't think that's okay. I really don't think it's okay for same character roster to be this far ahead at this point, right? And again, at the end of the day, the investment that he put otherwise, he can just put into full level 9 gems. He has some level 9s as well already, or I think it's just one. He just puts into full level 9 gems. He stopped the investment on like his characters because realistically he doesn't need it, right? And then meanwhile, I just lock my gems at level 8 and he's still going to be stronger. He's still going to be stronger, right? I'm still just catching up. I haven't caught up with this change yet to him. I'm still just catching up, right? And this is what I mean by this system is not a punishment. This system is a catch-up mechanic, okay? That's what this system is. And it's same for him. He's also would be catching up to this person, right? Now, I wanted to show you guys one more thing, and it is, well, here's another player that people have been talking about a little bit, because he was pretty upset about the changes, because it essentially invalidated a lot of his, well, investments into the Lost Ark account. And I mean, he admits that that's like not a good mentality to have, but that's just how he feels right now. And it's understandable. This is Cody. This is Cody's roster. Cody's roster is essentially same as mine right now. He's gonna be entering 6 times more than hard mode on release. And you guys are saying like, yeah, that's like, this, what does that have to do with anything? And this is Cody. This is Cody's roster 6 months ago. This video was from, it says, where does it say? This, I mean, sorry for the language, but this says basically 6 months ago, okay? This video was made 6 months ago. 1680 glaives, 1640 alts with a 1650 here. No glaviers, no duplicate glaviers. This was him 6 months ago. I can tell you for a fact, 6 months ago, I was way ahead on this. Way ahead on this. My entire roster, 6 months ago, we were already in tier 4. I literally entered tier 4 with an average item level of 1650. And that is on tier 4 entry. This is even later than that. And he's still this far behind. And now, suddenly, Cody's roster has caught up to mine. And the main difference that you see is that instead of 6 different classes, there's 3 glaviers here. He saved 3 million gold, 3 million gold. He just made, compared to me, 6 million gold by adding 2 glaviers into the roster, and get from his spot. It's not really that hard to add 2 more glaviers into the roster and up to other classes, because we've had a Ignite server, which allows you to add another character pretty easily into the roster, and B, another Express and another Pass, which allowed him to add another glavier into his roster. So now he just suddenly saves 6 million gold compared to me, and for what? For what? For sacrificing of fun? I don't think that you should be I don't think there should be an incentive to do that. And like when people are saying like why, like comparing to people is like very hard. It's very hard to compare because every person has their own path in Lost Ark. Obviously, there's pay to win involved, where Cody like literally said on stream that like it feels like a lot of his money that he spent on the game is wasted. So which literally means that the way that he got to this is on top of him going for two extra glaviers, he also spent a lot of real money, right, to get to this spot. So at the end of the day, you really can only compare to yourself. Where would you be if you had 6 different characters, and where would you be if you have 6 of the same characters? And the difference is pretty big. And I feel like that difference should not be as big. And I feel like you should incentivize more playing 6 of different characters. And the gems, I believe, are the main reason why you are not incentivized to do so. And that is why I think that in the isolation, the change in the gems that we're getting, going forward, from now on, everyone will look at what do you want to play? What makes you have the most fun? What do you want to have fun with? And you were more likely, not the most, because again, you're still better off with the old gems, with non-trading, with just sharing gems. You're still better off. You're still stronger. So going forward, but at the same time, it's not as big now that you wouldn't be like, oh, well, wait, I want to have fun on this class. I will try this class. And I will push this class. I will do it now. Because the gems are not really that important anymore. Because even without having the same gems as my main, I can be a little bit stronger. Right? That is where this change gets you. Again, I believe this change is about catching up and not fucking people over. Like most of people believe. One more thing from this video of Cody. I literally was looking for Cody's roster because I followed Cody a lot. I know what his roster transformation looked like. And like, I hope like he doesn't like get angry for me about using this video. But randomly, when I was going through this video, I found him saying this.
3 other DPS or 2 other DPS classes or whatever, right? Like, the way you mix and match your roster, obviously depending on how many characters you even feel like playing, really is up to you. Do not feel like A, you need to multi-class like crazy.
Do not feel like you need to multi-class like crazy.
Or B, if you do want to multi-class, you have to multi-class like 6 times or 5 times or 4 times or whatever it is. Play as much of a class as you actually want.
Play as much of a class as you actually want. Pretty much start of tier 4. This is what Cody's advice was on roster. This is how he felt about the game. Right? But what tier 4 did with all the monetization and things is, and if people that wanted to like really keep up with endgame rates, with endgame releases, what tier 4 did.
But I really would recommend playing multiple classes just because it is a lot more fun.
I would recommend playing multiple classes because it is a lot more fun. And he goes from this to this, 3 of the same class. Right? And the main incentive for this is gems. Right? And yes, I believe it's a bad way that the tier 4 has transformed players' mindset and has literally pushed people into this. And with this, and I do believe with this catch-up, it is going to disincentivize that a little bit. But at the same time, people feel upset about it, of course. They were literally forced into this kind of action with tier 4. They feel very upset about they're not having fun anymore. They, like, as you see, he used to have, like, he wanted to play multiple classes. He had more fun playing multiple classes. And now he's playing same class times 3, right? And I believe if we had this gem change from the start, he most likely wouldn't have transformed his roster into this. He would have still stayed on 6 different classes and just played 6 different classes if we had this system from the start. And that is where like the main flaw of like this system changes come. And the main flaw of a lot of Korean system changes come is that it is just too late. Every time it is just too damn late. And when it comes this late, it often feels like it is a cash grab situation, right? Often feels like they're just making it for the money, which potentially they are. I'm not saying they aren't, don't get me wrong. But I think that is the main flaw of the game. And to conclude this entire thing, I believe if people had a bit of a different mindset on the game, this change would have been a lot better accepted and it would have been a okay change. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be asking for an improvement to this system. They should absolutely be asking for it. But people should also not be asking to just revert it. People should not just lash out of anger and say, okay, this change is not as good as it should be. I'm angry and I'm going to let my emotion decide, like cloud my judgment and decide what's better. And I'm going to let my emotion and I'm just going to be saying, okay, just fuck it. Just go back. Just don't do anything. And I believe that is the way that a lot of not just players, but also content creators are preaching right nowadays. And again, the main reason why I'm making this video is to give a second perspective, to maybe try and let people see from a different perspective how this change affects the game, right? And to maybe reconsider your opinion of whether this change is, well, whether we should be going back to how it was with gems versus letting this one go through. Okay? That is it. And then just for the end, to like show you guys how emotions is clouding a judgment. This character I randomly saw today trending on Uvuovo. Well, not really trending, but like, you know what I mean. This is a 1740, used to be Blade, with no gear, no gems. When I did estimated rate load, what did they used to have? Full 10s, right? This person might have removed everything, might have quit, might have, like, I'm assuming he's rage quit from the game. because of the change with this roster. Full Blades roster. But the crazy part is his second blade is not even 1680. Like, does he even play these characters? I don't even know. Right? I don't know. Like, do you even play these characters? 1740 and then 1660. And he's upset about the current situation of the game, perhaps? Which, again, in my opinion, is just emotions clouding his judgment at this point. Like, you had full level 10s. You barely ever play your other characters. Like, you're clearly a whale to get to 1740 while having the odds this low. So why not just bind the gems on your main and, like, I don't know, just play event gems on this? Like, who cares? Just play event gems on this. Like, these characters are, like, what? But yeah, I want to end this video here. If you guys want to give me any, like, probably every single argument that you want to, or like the way you want to argue about me, about anything here, I have probably already answered all of it. So you don't really have to try to argue with me about the system, about why you think that I'm wrong, perhaps. I'm down for any sort of like criticism on this. I'm down to like for you guys to give me any more input on this, to like maybe, but again, like I already understand both sides of it, and I'm only here to represent one realistically, just because I believe this side is not represented whatsoever. I believe every single content creator is on the other side, even though everyone's saying that the community is split. But even though everyone's saying that community is split, for some reason, we're only hearing one voice. From content creators, we're only hearing the voice of, this needs to not happen. Right? So where's the other half? And that is the main reason why one of the big reasons why I made this video today, is because I feel like the other side is not represented well, and I feel like people are not talking about it well. Anyway, I don't know. I hope this video wasn't too long. Thanks everyone who stuck through this video with me. And well, I hope for a better tomorrow in Lost Ark. We'll see what happens though. Peace.